Alright, so today we're going to talk about how to sew English paper pieces together, and I'm going to be sewing these together just like this. I've already got a video on supplies and how to baste them, so if you have not caught those videos yet, you'll want to know those steps before you move on to this one. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle, I'm just going to load my thread on, and I start out without a knot, so I'm not tying a knot on this. I've just got it in my needle. You want to take your pieces however they go. Make sure you're following your pattern and you know which is going which, because it matters where you're putting these. So we're going to put these right sides together, and we're going to make sure that their corners meet up, and then you're going to send your needle right through one corner and out the other. You're going to pull until your thread maybe leaving an inch on it, and then I'm just going to hold that down with my thumb. I'm going to send it back through again, and it's going to, you see that it's making the little circle, so I'm going to put my needle through that circle and pull pretty tight. This is bottom line thread, so it is pretty strong, one of the strongest I've seen, but that doesn't mean it won't break. It will break if you pull it too hard. I have a habit of pulling it too hard all the time, so I know all about broken thread. But okay, so we've got it knotted once, and we're gonna send it back through, and we're gonna knot it through again. So that's pull it through, and then knot off twice. All right, I'm putting this white right here because I think you'll be able to see it better on the white. All right, so you always start out that way. Hold your thread, pull it through once, and then knot off twice. And then we're going to start our stitches, and we're just doing a whip stitch. So to do a whip stitch, you just put your needle through one side. You can feel the cardboard in here, and your needle will more than likely not go through it. It'll pass above it, and that's what you're wanting. So you're wanting it to go through both layers of fabric but miss the cardboard. And you can, if you've ever tried this, you'll get a feel for where that cardboard is at. So it's going through both layers, and then we pull it through, and then we just keep doing that. If you're wondering how far apart, there's no exact measurement. I try to keep it pretty close together. The closer it is, the closer your stitches are together, obviously the stronger your piece is, but mine are definitely not going to be exact. So there's not a certain amount of stitches that you need to do. You'll really just kind of find your own movement here and your own way of doing things. Now I know some people will do this little number like this, where they will start their first and they won't pull it through all the way, and then they'll start another stitch. That way you're pulling through two stitches at once, but this never works for me. I have to be really careful, and I end up, it just be faster for me to do one stitch at a time. But I know a lot of quilters do it that way, and that may work for you, so I would definitely suggest that you try it. I like to always make sure that I have enough thread when I start, but occasionally you misjudge it, or sometimes you break your thread. So if my thread was to break right here and I need to reload another thread, I would just pull it where I'm at, and then when I start, I'll get a new piece of thread, and when I start again, I'll start a few stitches back. So you see I'm at right here, but I may start back here, and then you'll pull it through, catch your thread, push through again twice, and knot off twice. So just like we started. All right, so I've got one more stitch on here to do. So I'm gonna send it from corner to corner. You pull it through once, tight, and then we're doing it exactly the way we started. Push it through, make a loop to put your needle in, knot, and then do that one more time. All right, so that's one side done. So here's the next one I'm gonna sew. I'm sewing this to this. I'm gonna flip this guy down like this. And since I've got to do, let me show you, since I've got to do this, then this, when I flip him over like this, I'm going to turn to my back and I'm going to move right here. So I'm not cutting, I'm not doing anything like that. I'm leaving the thread alone. It's just for speed purposes. And I'm gonna start this corner just like I did the other two. All right, so you've got this thread, you just hold it down with your finger, and then we just start again. And then, so now I've got this knotted off. I pulled it through once and then knotted off twice. And then I'm just gonna whip stitch right this way. All right, so I'm on my last stitch and we're just going to, you always do the last stitch the same. So you send it through once and then you send it through again. Knot off once and then we're gonna knot off one more time. Oop. All right, so there's this little connecting thread. If this gets in your way or if you've done it too tight, you can cut this now because you've knotted here and you've knotted there, so it's safe to cut this. I don't worry about it unless I have to. So now we've got this stitch, and all we do is just put these two together. So this, you can fold this, it doesn't matter, and we just start again. And we sew right along here. And we start every corner exactly the same, pulling it through once and then knotting off twice. So I'm going to get this sewed off and I'll show you when I'm done. All right, and that's what it ends up looking like. And I can continue adding on each side and then sewing these seams together all the way around, and I would end up with a hexie flower. So that is how you whip stitch.